Birdsong and tractors are not the only sounds on Nadia Ivanova's 4,000 hectares. Artillery fire in the distance never really stops, but Nadia and her team are preoccupied with other things.
Look at this wheat. It's underfed. It's underloved.
But that wasn't for want of trying on Nadia's part. For most of the crucial early growing season, she couldn't even get to her fields. They were a war zone. The fighting is now at least 25 kilometers away, far enough for Nadia and her team to get back to feeding the world.
The missiles fly over our heads towards Mykolaiv over there. Wheat in the fields catches fire really easily with all the dry straw. If you do get a direct hit, you can lose hectares to the flames in a matter of minutes.
This unexploded Russian missile had dug its way a metre into the ground. Just some of the ordnance that the Russians left behind them, alongside landmines and countless shells. They also took a lot with them, from chainsaws to food and even cutlery. Nadia is still totting up the losses. This crop sprayer was the farm's pride and joy. It had just been bought for more than €250,000. It was destroyed before it could even be used.
They used cassette bombs. It turns the insides of equipment like this to mince. It's a mess. See that spray tank riddled with holes?
With months of fieldwork missed and much of her machinery either destroyed or short of diesel, Nadia says this year's harvest will be modest at best. Unlike the harvest stuck behind these walls, 2021 was a record year across southern Ukraine, with full grain storage units almost everywhere. Much of the bumper crop hadn't even reached world markets when war broke out in late February. That's because many farmers keep their grain back until prices are highest during the winter months. In Nadia's case, that's thousands of tons. And the first of this year's harvests, barley, is just 10 days away. Most farmers here will barely have anywhere to put it.
Grain used to be like gold. You could always sell it easily whenever you wanted. This is the first time ever we can't get it off our hands.
With Ukraine's ports not only shut, but also mined, and a deal with Russia to reopen them not on the cards, alternatives from river barges to rail freight are desperately being sought. But none of them come close to even matching the capacity and price of transport by sea. Even when new routes have been found, trucks now face weeks-long tailbacks to unload. For now, the grain from this farm and thousands like it is going nowhere. It's a situation that's left Nadia struggling to pay her workers' wages at the same time as the world desperately waits for the grains she produces. But at least she's still producing it all, and when the ports eventually do reopen, there'll be a crop to sell, in spite of mines in the soil and shells overhead.